I'm pumped about this. When you texted me that, I was like, oh, no way. Moneyball.
Great movie.
I've already seen some free agent stuff, though.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. There's definitely a lot of stuff going on. There's not. I mean, I guess the biggest name would be Kuzma. I thought at the end of the episode we can just give some thoughts so far.
Yeah, we could do that. All right. So what it was, I saw Jeremy Grant.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
And then Draymond.
Draymond, those are the big ones. Porzingis got extended.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty surprising.
2 years, $60 million.
Oh, okay. 2 years after this year?
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess he's already opted in.
All right, we are live and posted on my Snapchat. Ooh.
Bruce Brown, $45 million over 2 years.
Yeah.
What? Dude, that is nuts. I'm wondering about Kuzma, if that'll be a sign and trade. Or if they just think he's Michael Jordan. All right, ready to roll?
Yeah. I figured we'll do it after, because then we can get some other signings going in.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some more.
All right. Cool. Let's get started. Are you going to Grant's, by the way?
What? Like tonight?
No. Monday.
Oh, I don't think I am, actually.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think I'm going to be in Jersey.
All right.
I haven't gone to a single 4th of the July thing.
I went to one after work one time, but we're streaming. I was going to say, I'll just tell you after why I'm able to go. All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
So, surprisingly to us, today is the start of NBA free agency. We didn't do a preview pod because I felt it was kind of pointless. You know, we could sit and just talk a bunch of nonsense about where these guys are going to go.
We've been talking a bunch of nonsense for like 3 months now, in all fairness. So
hey, we had some finals to take care of. We had a draft to take care of. Now it was it felt like it was a little.
Well, I mean, like
the
free agency preview is sprinkled in throughout every NBA conversation that we have.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So, since we didn't know that, we skipped Tuesday's pod, and now we're gonna have to do it after we do Moneyball, since we already watched it. I already took my notes. Fantastic movie. Hopefully you guys are excited to listen to it anyways, even though it is the start of NBA free agency. But prepare for that afterwards. And we're gonna get started. Chris, I haven't seen you since last Friday. How was your week?
It was good. Yeah. Getting more into the swing of things.
Nice.
At work. Starting to pick up some tasks. It's not just learning stuff, but yeah, things are going well.
Good, good. All right.
You started procuring.
I did. I did. I did start procuring for the fans out there who want to know. Yeah, I mean, I learned some procurement stuff. Learned
Can you say what it is now?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
do you want me to, or like do you just want to know?
Shoot.
All right, all right. Now I'm on the spot. So, basically, procurement for the state of Maryland in the housing and community development is we are basically looking over contracts, um, submitting contracts online. Um, we're doing this thing called a solicitation, which is like a public
Oh,
bid.
I know solicitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
learned all about that today, actually.
Perfect. I'm writing one, which isn't fun.
Really?
Yeah, it's not fun. Uh, but so basically we look at all that. They don't. It's not like we give out the bids. They give out the money. Like we take what the state tells us we're allowed to spend, and then so for example, they're in the office. They're reconstructing one of the rooms for meetings, and
Okay.
they gave us however much money, I forget how much it was, to redo this office. We had to write out a report.
RFP.
Yep, an RFP, a report to basically say who is going to do the best job for the cheapest amount of
Mhm.
money, and then we just pick that, and that's kind of it. We just kind of pick on who we're actually spending the money on.
You have a contract officer?
Yep. Yep. That's a whole separate division. So I don't
Okay.
I don't interact with any of the contract officers.
Okay.
And I guess we write the contracts too, or a lot of the contracts.
Right.
We had to put these contracts in like public spaces. I was doing a lot of that today, just like sending it over to
Mhm.
public spaces. And it's just a bunch of loops that need to get closed by because it's the government and it's the state.
Right.
So it's just like bouncing all over the state, and then apparently comes back to the procurement office, and then they say yes, and then it's done. All right. Well, that was a conversation
Cool.
that you cared about, and I don't think anyone else did.
It sounds like it sounds like we could actually talk about technical work stuff together.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
I
no,
literally
I think
just
we
did
could.
a module today on contracts.
Yeah, I was
I'm
actually
pretty
thinking
well
that.
versed now.
I was like, huh, I wonder if we're doing similar stuff here. But
Yeah,
that's
just different
that's
fields.
it's not a discussion for the pod. That's a later discussion. Let's get it. Speaking of money, speaking of economics, business, let's get into Moneyball. So I thought my first little tidbit was the movie starts as any good sports movie should, with grainy old time
Yep.
footage of just baseball being played. Just the A's playing the Yankees.
It's always the
ALDS.
Yankees, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
Always.
And the the eventual loss in the ALDS. They come in. Just I love that opening scene. I love seeing
Mhm.
the old footage. Love seeing the commentators commentate it. You know,
Did you recognize the commentator?
uh-uh.
It's Cassiano's deep drive to left.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Uh, it's
Little tidbit there.
so Billy Bean is out there, listening to the game, not watching it. Uh, disappointment happens. They lose, and we kind of just get right into it. What I also write down is they blew a 2-0 lead in a 5 series game.
Mhm.
That's tragic.
Yeah.
Like
It
that.
happens more than you'd think.
No, and him throwing out the radio on his car ride home, then he stops the car and has to stop and finish off the radio. I was like, I would have done the same damn thing. I would
Yeah.
have done the
I
same.
would have just run over it with my car at that point.
Yeah, he's already in the
Sorry, out the
car.
window.
He should have just thrown
You
it
know how
out.
when there's this is kind of dark, but like when there's a murder and sometimes they'll say it was a crime of passion.
Yeah,
Like that was not a
yes.
crime of passion. Like he threw it out and then he paused and got out of the car and went and finished the job. That was not a crime of passion. That was deliberate.
Yeah,
Like you would say in court. The radio's defense.
I definitely agree. The radio, it was not seeing the light of day. Once it came out of the car, I was like, man, I'm surprised. Like I would have just like smashed it right in the car, like, let it fall all over me, and do whatever. But um, yeah, I have three things on the radio. Just says shows.
A really in-depth analysis already.
I said shows real. You know, that radio scene, it shows real sports fandom. And I know he's the GM, he's
Yeah.
his job, but that shows real sports fandom. And he's listening to the public radio, which the local radio, not public. Of course, it's public. It's radio, but the local radio, and they're talking about what the O's need to do or the A's need to do, what how they lost again, and I was just sitting there like, oh, this would have been like this is exactly what I would have done. I would have turned on the radio and got even more
Devastating.
angry
Yeah.
about what's going on.
You just wallow in like everybody else's pity.
Yep. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the general manager of the team. He's like listening to sports talk radio.
Oh, I would.
Which
I
I
definitely.
doubt he does in real life.
You don't think he actually?
You think?
Yeah. I don't know. Billy Bean
You
seemed
think
like.
Brad Stevens was driving in his truck after Game 7, listening to Boston radio?
Yeah, you're right. Probably not. Yeah, actually, you're because I think in a real life sense, they're more rational of like, hey, let's like give it a couple days.
Yeah,
We
right.
just lost. Like what at the end of the movie or whatever, Pete's talking to him. He's like, hey man, it just happened 4 days ago. Like, just give yourself a break.
Mhm.
It's like no,
No.
not possible. All right, and then so okay, what do we got here first? You want to take some
The
reins?
meeting with the owner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The meeting with the owner. He has the
Which I thought it's very, very interesting that we're doing this movie now because of the whole Oakland controversy with them,
yes, yeah,
with the owner wanting to take the team to Vegas, and flashback to 2002, and it's like, oh, the owner's still cheap.
Yep.
I don't know if they had sold the team. I'm gonna look that up right now. I should have looked it up while I was watching the movie. It's the owner. It's John Fisher, but maybe he just didn't want his name to be used because the owner's Steve Schott
hmm
in the movie. So I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Well, in the owners meeting, he has the one of the first great quote of the movie, where he's like, "There's the Yankees, there's the high market teams, and then there's 50 feet."
Oh, that's with
Crap.
the scouts.
Oh, you're right. That is with the scouts, and then
Yeah,
there's us.
you're ahead a little.
I
bit
am jumping
there.
ahead. I guess I didn't really have anything on that.
The owners meeting, the line is when the owner's like, "Oh well, we'll be back next year," and he just goes, "We're not going to be better this year." The owner's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, we're losing these three of our best players." And the owner's like, "Well, you'll find new guys." And he's like, "Look, man, I don't know what to tell you. You have to give me more money." And the owner's like, "No." So he's already put in that spot where he's set up to fail.
Yeah, it's really it shows like the tragedy of these cheap baseball owners where
Yeah.
there's nothing they could do, where it's like cuz there's no salary cap, there's no, all the other crap that's in all the other leagues where it's just the owner's money being spent. And it's
Mhm.
if your owner doesn't want to spend, you are screwed. And
Yeah.
there's been a plenty of baseball teams throughout the years that have been stuck with terrible cheap owners.
Yeah,
But
at least a third of the league, I think, is like in a pretty rough state in terms of spending. Like I could just rip off a bunch of teams that don't spend nearly enough money. Even like Tampa, who's good. Tampa is like the modern day Oakland A's. What the A's
Modern
used
day
to
mo-
be in terms of, yeah, basically, just like more advanced than everybody else in analytics and player development. That's what the A's used to.
so now we get to the meeting, the scouting meeting. All the old heads are throwing out their ideas, ways to replace the guys that they're losing, using the money as for big time free agents to try to get some star power, try to get some players to make up for the stats that they're losing. And it just like that's where you see the point at the beginning where you're like, oh, it must kind of suck to be a GM. We were like, this is like these guys are gonna be pissed no matter what I do, and like he gets final decision. So none of their opinions really matter in the grand scheme of things. But
Mm.
when he's like, just someone
Well,
give
they're
me a
all
new
boomers.
idea. Yeah. They're all boomers.
My favorite line from that scene is when they're talking about this one guy, and the one scout goes, "Got an ugly girlfriend, though."
Yes,
Scout's like,
yes.
"What? What?
Shows lack of
Ugly
confidence.
girlfriend means low confidence." And
Yeah.
they're like, "All right, whatever." And then they move on. Saying he looks the part, like he'll be a good ball player, and the guy goes, "I'm just saying, his girlfriend's a sick bitch." That part gets me every time, and Billy's like, "Oh my gosh, like what are we dealing with here?" And I know, like, baseball scouts are definitely like this.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like this is a pretty accurate depiction of what these guys look. Maybe
Yeah.
not just baseball either.
No, I think so too. It's all these boomer types, all these old guys that are in the scouting departments. They're definitely like this. They're definitely worried about, because they're not worried about what's they just worry about what they already know, and they know, like, for
Mm.
example, like, oh, I can judge this guy because his girlfriend's a 6. Shows lack of confidence. Yeah, that meeting, it felt chaotic. Felt like it was just sucked to be in. Then, he gets all right. So I just put down. I hate sometimes looking at my own notes because it's like I'm watching it during the movie and I'm like, it makes perfect sense. I'm watching it during the movie, and then I'm like, oh, I have no idea what this means. So in the beginning, oh yeah. This is when he goes to the Indians. He goes to the Indians
Right.
to try and get a trade done, and I immediately thought, I was like, is this how GMs do it?
I was
thought it was
wondering
just a
that
phone
too. Like,
call.
you just show up and you're like, "All right,
Yeah,
the
let's
deal
make a
done."
trade. And
What?
who are all the guys in the back? Like, are they just think they're all like scouts as well?
Those are the right. Those would be the guys that Billy would have
Yeah,
if he was hosting, I guess.
but they have to be in that
All
meeting.
the
Like, they have to be
boys.
in the back. Like, it was
Yeah, it
like,
feels a little bit unfair.
no, yeah,
It's like 20 versus 1. He's got
exactly.
all these opinions around him. I guess Billy's just like, I don't care. Like, I don't need anybody else's opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
I just
But
need Pete.
I just thought it was like, it's like he's going in. It was like an execution. Everyone's lined up. He's like sitting in this chair. Everyone's standing behind him.
You're poor.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
And you just lost in 5 games.
uh,
Literally is how it goes down.
so I was wondering why that wasn't a phone call, but luckily for Billy Bean,
It's
and
Oakland to Cleveland, too.
yeah, I know, it's not like it was close. He's
It's
not.
not like San Francisco where he just has to take the ferry.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily for Billy Bean, he gets glimpse of his new best friend, Pete. Do you know Pete's last name? I forgot it.
Brand, who in
Right.
real life is Paul DiPodesta, I think is how you say it.
Why would you not want your name in
Who-
it?
I don't know, and it's also not like people are watching the movie be like, "Oh, I wonder who that guy's supposed to be."
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
just
Paul works for the A's. I wonder if that's.
yeah, I
If
just thought he
Paul
was a real
had anything to do
person.
with this movie, and it's like, yeah, I was like the main character.
That's
I-
all right. Paul's an
It's
idiot.
me.
If Paul's an absolute idiot because he not only is he the probably like he's not the main character. Billy Bean's the main character, but he is.
He's 1A.
Yeah. I'd say he's 1A, and I thought he was one of the best parts of the movie, played by Jonah Mountain in
Yeah.
this one, not The Hill. I have that as one of my. It was
This is our second Jonah Mountain review. I
Yeah.
think.
that I have it. It was like, oh, Pete's from Maryland. And then I just put Jonah Mountain. That's a good one.
You know
Also-
where? This is actually funny. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page. He's not from Maryland. He's from Virginia, and he
Land.
didn't go to Yale. He went to Harvard. So they just like
Yeah.
barely switched
Yeah.
this stuff around. Also, do you know who he works for now?
Who?
Cleveland Browns.
Really?
He's been there for like 7 years now. Yeah.
God, well, he didn't take Moneyball approach when going to Deshaun Watson. Jesus.
No, he did
All right, and they're discussing some player in this trade, and the GM goes, he costs 7.5 million, Billy. You're not going to be able to afford him. And I just thought, like, especially looking today at all these NBA contracts that are coming in,
Mhm.
I was like, 7.5. That's like cheap as hell now.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's a a pretty average player is getting 7.5 million a year this time
Yeah.
around. Yeah, Pete's from Maryland. Now I know it's not true. Pete's not even a real person. Well, he is, but not even. Oh, and then the quote. They start showing the flashbacks to Billy Bean's recruiting, or recruiting to the. Is it that recruiting or is it just like a pitch? It's not recruiting because it's not a school.
It's professional, yeah. I guess a pitch.
So he's getting a pitch
Like, hey,
from.
don't get a Stanford education. Come play for the Mets.
Exactly.
Imagine.
And the guy pitching, the agent, says a famous quote that I think you've said on this pod before.
We're all told.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
We can't play the children's game.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in our lives, we're all told we can't play the children's game anymore. Some of us are told at 18, some at 40. We're all told.
It
Great
hit. That's a hit. That one hits.
Yeah, it does hit.
It definitely hits. And when that's like so like lame of the agent. Like you're really gonna tell this 18-year-old kid like, you could be done tomorrow, man. You should take the money while you can get it. And so, it leads up.
I mean,
what?
He's not completely wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all. If he went to Stanford and sucked like he did in the pros, he would have never gone to the pros at all.
That's right. Well, then he'd have a Stanford education, but
yeah, he would have had something. But anyways, where am I going next?
Now he calls Pete at 3 a.m.
Yes, I said drunk.
Hey, man.
Drunk, angry, and just bought Pete from the Indians. Can you do that?
You ever made like a drunk purchase? Like, I shouldn't have made that bet.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have ordered $30 in McDonald's on DoorDash.
Yeah.
You ever just like bought someone
from the
job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Bought a scout from the Cleveland Indians?
Can you buy a scout? I guess you can
you can buy him out.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess
when
he
we
bought
say
him out.
Buying, it's like he owns him, which obviously he doesn't.
Yeah,
but I'm assuming
but he bought him for
was like, Mark Shapiro, here's $50K.
I want Pete.
This guy. Yeah, I want put Pete on the next plane tag.
So he comes in, great Pete scene right at the beginning. He sets up, gets in early. He moves in, as he says, and after that, he's like, "How many of these scouting reports you get done?" He goes, 45. And then he goes,
he asked him to do 3.
Oh yeah. He asked him to do 3. He says 45, and then he pauses for a second. He goes, "I don't know why I lied. I did 51." Jonah Hill owns this movie. Every scene that he's in it.
He's the perfect like awkward, funny.
Yep.
Like also super smart character, and he's got like a sweet side to him almost.
He's like Pippin.
Covers all bases.
he is the Pippin of this movie. Because like the scenes where he was on it, and it was like some of the best scenes of the movie. Seeing Pete out there running around Jonah Mountain,
wearing the A's hat.
Yes,
it's great.
Yep. So he does the evaluations. There's one guy I wrote down. His name is Chad Bradford. I was just like, how can you get more douchey than that? Like that is just that's an A.
He's the least douchey guy ever.
No, I know that's the A1 name. Is that Chris Pratt? Is Chad Bradford?
No, Chris Pratt's Hadberg.
Oh, you're right.
H.
Who is
I don't know.
He's
Chad
the
Bradford
pitcher.
Is, but
he's the pitcher.
Yeah, the submarine guy.
Yeah.
So this is one of the guys that I recognized when I first watched this movie like years ago. I think Chad Bradford was on the Orioles at one point.
We have some Chad comments.
Okay.
We're getting some Chad love in here. But he was on the Orioles?
Yeah. Because I remember like I had gone to a game at some point when I was a kid, and he throws funny, and I remembered that. I was like, Chad Bradford, he's the guy that throws weird.
Huh.
And then sure enough, in the movie,
you were probably watching the movie
no
like,
one wants
whoa,
him.
no way.
Yeah, like the Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah, that's him.
I thought he throws funny too. But yeah, so that was the cool thing about this movie is like, as a baseball fan, there are so many things that, and we'll get into some of the things that they like didn't get right or overly dramatized. So that was cool. when I had first watched the movie.
And when they're talking about Chad Bradford, that was a perfect example of the old guys in the room, the scouts. They're like, oh, he throws like no way, man. He throws weird. Just because he throws weird.
Yeah.
Come on now. Can't be judging that guy by his throw. You got to see what the pitches actually end up being. And then I just wrote, I mean, some Pete and Bill, just great chemistry immediately. They're locked in the second he comes to the A's.
When he points at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like in the meetings. Yeah. Well, at first it's like, you want me to speak? He's like, when I point at you, yes, I want you to speak. But yeah, they own that room. They command it.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely Pippin in that scenario.
Yeah, and then what we have the one guy, Grady. I guess leaves after they signed Chris Pratt. But when they first showed Chris Pratt, his hand was like on his face, and like I couldn't see half of it, and I was like, "Is that Chris Pratt?" And then like a scene later, I was like, "Oh my god, it is Chris Pratt!" It's like really young Chris Pratt.
I think this movie was my intro to Chris Pratt, and he's not like
he doesn't get a lot of screen
special
time
necessarily.
No, he's kind of a like he has more scenes than some of the other players, but none of the players really have a person. Like I guess they have some personality, but not a ton in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
but yeah, he's like a focal point. Is one of the players that they focus on.
Yes, I do gotta say this started something that I was gonna get worried about throughout the movie, but never ended up happening. Is when he comes in and like the wife and kid are there and like there's all this shit. And I'm like, great. Like, we're going to have to, like, worry about these players' families. Like, we're going to have to see Billy Bean's families.
Not at all.
Nothing. It's straight baseball.
A little bit of Billy's daughter.
Yeah, there is a little bit.
But there's no, like, at first when he goes to see the daughter for the first time. And
I did tell her to get off screen. Poor Billy's daughter. I told her to get the hell out of here.
But you meet Alan, the stepdad, and
yeah.
whatever the mom's name is. And I do understand where you're coming from. You're like, we really have to get this full backstory. But no, not at all.
Nope.
You meet that guy once.
Yeah.
And they're, like, on the phone.
He's got one scene, and his potential. He's in the running for Cuck of the Week. He's definitely in the running.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Alan is definitely in there. Big time.
His sandals.
Yeah. You walk in there.
My mother and I will discuss it. Thanks.
Billy Bean walks in there and is immediately 20 times cooler than this guy.
Yeah.
Like, just from the looks alone, he's 20 times cooler.
But, like, did you see the guy's house? He's probably, like, one of those Silicon Valley guys that...
He probably went to Stanford.
Big time.
That's
a cuck.
Yeah, it's a cuck. Yeah, that right after that, get Billy's daughter out of here. And then it starts, so then we get some Billy backstory where he is a complete bust. This dude is he is terrible.
Couldn't hit the big league curveball.
Couldn't hit anything. So you learn that
he has anger issues.
Yeah.
If we didn't already cover that for radio.
Yeah. In the in-depth analysis of the assassination of the radio at the beginning of the movie. All right. Also, I had a note that throughout the beginning of this movie, and mainly when he's talking to Grady and he's basically firing him, like, well, he's basically quitting and then he fires him at the end of the conversation. But there's like spots on his shirt that never go away.
Great.
On Billy's.
Interesting.
It's like he spilled coffee or something, like right here, but it's not like a brown coffee stain. It's like water. And I was just like, what the hell is on his shirt? They couldn't have freshened him up.
Your TV screen wasn't just discolored?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. There was something on his shirt. Anyways, Grady, one of the scouts, comes in, starts bitching about all these moves that they're making, saying he's an idiot. Listen to this kid. The kid being Pete. And basically just tells him to F off.
His face?
Yeah, tells him to F off. And boom. Done. I wouldn't be handling any of that. It's funny. He
Yeah.
said,
Well, he says he's like, I'm not gonna fire you, Grady. Grady steps on him.
yeah. Why would he say it? I would have been like, yeah, you're
I
done.
don't know.
Like, there's no way I'm keeping that clown after all that shit.
Yeah.
And then Grady comes back later and is badmouth him on the radio. Like, what a turd. I called him. He was a turd. He was a turd. This movie.
He is a turd. Yes.
So they make all these signings. They get all these players, and they start the season opening day. And the reporter is in the locker room, and this reporter is the nastiest bitch I've ever heard. She's just going up to all the players.
Excuse me. Get out of my shot.
Yeah.
I asked if you were 100%. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's like, what? It's just so unnecessary to include too, but it's just like a little.
Yeah, it's a
funny
throwaway
part of the
scene,
movie.
and it just like it makes you just like, oh, I think it's what it adds is like, I don't know about you, but during the movie, like I hated everyone that wasn't the A's. Like everyone's out to get the A's, basically. Like the media,
literally.
the reporting.
Everyone's
the
against
other
Billy
teams.
Bean
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all the guys that Billy Bean brought in.
Yeah.
I like. You notice that they only really focus on the players that they acquired in the offseason?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'll just get to this now. That A's team was really good. They had 3 like ace pitchers. They had the MVP of the league that year, Miguel Tejada. They had Eric Chavez at third, who was a stud. Jermaine Thye. Like, this team was really good. They weren't just a bunch of. It wasn't like the island of misfit toys that like brought together. Like, they were good.
You're talking about
they lost
even
big names, but.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, word.
But if you look up the 2002 A's and look at some of the guys' numbers, they were a wagon.
Yeah, they portray it in the movie. So later they go, like, we can just go around the movie, I feel like. Later in the movie, they go on this 20-game win streak, break all the records in the ALS or AL, whatever, American League.
Yeah, American League.
And yeah,
great scene.
And it makes you think like, oh, they are like playing with like dumpster kids. Like these guys are found in the back of the street that nobody wants, and they're just making like it was like a Cinderella story. It felt like. But so that does add a little context that I didn't even know because they don't mention it in the movie at all.
No, they don't. I would be pissed if I was like Barry Zito, who won 23 games that year as a starting pitcher, or Miguel Tejada, who literally won AL MVP, and he's like not even in the movie.
He's not mentioned.
He's too busy talking about David Justice and
David
Jeremy
Justice.
Giambi.
I like David Justice. I was a fan of David Justice.
He's cool.
Yeah, he is cool.
The scene when we can go back to chronological.
No, we can jump around. Do you think it's just easier? We can just jump around.
I guess, yeah.
All right.
But when he's talking to David Justice in the batting cage, that's a cool scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
He's taking swings and he's like kind of being a jerk, and then like, that's why you're paying me $7 million. Billy Bean's like, I'm not paying you $7 million. Yankees are paying half your salary just to get rid of you. Like, oh. He stops taking swings.
Mm-hmm. He starts
listening.
He's
more down to earth, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, and he gets a good message out to him. He's like, you're here to be like the leader. These guys, like you're old, but we're not paying you for past performance. We're paying you to play now.
Yeah, I'm paying you for the player you are now.
Yeah, I thought it was great. The one thing about this movie is the scenes with Billy and the players are super like inspirational. They're super like, I don't know. I feel like they're really good. Like he is like the man when he walks in that locker room, and it's funny because they mention that he doesn't like to mingle with the players. So then when he cuts under trades them, but then it seemed like at the end it was like he
talks to the players the whole movie.
Yeah, I was like, it seems like you're mingling pretty.
At least
pretty
like when they start winning, like they're always talking. There's like a whole scene where it's only conversations between him and the players. And granted, they're all baseball related. It's not like chummy, but my favorite scene though is when he goes in the locker room and they're playing the music and Jeremy Giambi's dancing. Yeah. And he comes in and he like knocks over the speaker. He's like, "Is losing fun?" Like they're literally middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Losing fun? No.
No, it felt like your dad walking
in.
Yeah, or like your little league coach. When you walk in the locker room after a loss and you're like, chugging some Gatorades or like hanging out with your boys, and the coach comes in, starts putting on his hard on face. He's like, oh, like,
Yeah.
and
Just having fun.
yeah,
Have
it's
fun out
exactly what it
there.
felt like.
But these are grown men, and then he like smashes something with a bat.
Oh,
That's what losing sounds like.
yeah, with the silence. And he throws the water jug or the Gatorade jug, just throws it down.
And then when he goes down, I forget what this is after, and he goes down. He's like, and I think it's after he trades Giambi and Pena.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes down. He's like, "You guys may not look like a winning team.
Oh, I have that down. I have
You
it down.
are one.
Yeah.
Go.
All right.
Go in tonight."
No,
all right.
He goes, "You may not look like a winning team." Pauses for about like 5 seconds, but you are one. Another pause for about like 5 seconds, and then he goes, "Go play like one." And I looked at my dad and I was like, "That was like the worst pep talk I've ever heard." That was the
Well, it's
worst.
probably because he's not used to doing it.
No, yeah, you're right.
He's either throwing a hissy fit or he's avoiding them. That's the changing character arc.
Mm-hmm.
Turns into more of a player's GM, I guess.
I related to him when he was just driving around every time he didn't know what to do. I was like, oh, best thinking comes from when you're just driving mindlessly.
Yeah. Going to see the minor league team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, something that I thought about earlier, like, how does he evaluate the players if he doesn't watch the games? I guess he goes back and watches films, but I was wondering that.
He has to watch film every single day because he doesn't watch any. I was thinking about that.
I mean,
on my car ride
have
home
that little
today.
room where they just like at the meeting of the minds, and they got their little computers. So I guess that's what they're doing in there.
But I was thinking the same thing. I was like, because I was like, I wonder if other GMs like don't watch games because they're scared of it. And then I was thinking like, for like basketball, it's like, how the hell are you supposed to know how to value these players if you're not watching the game? But clearly, like, he has to watch a game at some point. Basically, there's no way he doesn't watch it at all.
He just doesn't like to do it live. He just goes and gets jacked. Had to have some Brad Pitt workout scenes.
Yeah, they threw some in there.
Still got it.
I forget who he was telling this to, but he tells someone to not explain themselves. And I was like, oh, it was all right. So him and Pete sitting at the GM's chair, and they're gonna trade the rookie pitcher, and he's like, well, how are we gonna explain this? Yeah, Pena.
First baseman.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And they're
also, I looked this up. Pena was hitting .218 that year, so he was not going to be an all-star. He was not an all-star.
He where Pete then looks at Billy and he goes, "Well, like, how are we gonna explain this?" And he looks at him. He goes, "I'm 40 years old with a high school diploma, and you're 25 coming out of Yale. We don't need to explain anything. We just got to trust the system." And I was like, that's great advice. Like, just trust your gut.
Do you trust this thing or not?
Yeah, great quote.
Pete's like, yeah. Or no, he says, are we better with Pena or Hatterberg? And Pete's like, it's close, but Hatterberg. He's like, what are we talking about then? Let it ride.
Great quote. Great talking about it. He has Jerry West mentality the whole time. Billy Beane.
Jerry West mentality?
Oh, you haven't seen Winning Time yet, which is a huge mistake. Jerry West is like this angry, just always cursing, breaking stuff, throwing shit at the wall, just like what Billy Beane was for a lot of it. Yeah, apparently, according to HBO.
It's like Jerry West was on Earth. I don't know why, but
the logo,
the face of the league.
Yeah, literally.
He looks so chill.
I would have fired Art, by the way.
Okay, that's the other thing. The real Art Howe was like pissed at the way they made him look in the movie.
Really?
Like, they made him a turd.
Yeah, he stunk in the movie.
He was just not. Yeah.
He's also a candidate for me for Cuck of the Week. He's definitely has Cuck energy going the whole
But he does. If you listen to the radio, he gets all the credit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when they're
yeah.
losing, they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's not Art's fault," and then they're winning. It's like you got to give it to Art.
Mhm.
Art's turned this thing around. And also, he has a point at the beginning when he's saying he can't do it under a 1 year contract. Like he did win 102 games.
Yeah, that was
He
kind of bull. Yeah, that was kind
should
of
probably
bull.
get an extension after
Well,
that.
and I
I don't
was
know
thinking
what the real life situation was, but I did feel
too,
bad.
if that was 2023, he would have been inked up halfway through the season last year. They would have signed him
Not
to
in the
some.
NBA, he'd be fired because they lost.
Yeah, because they lost in the playoffs. That's true. That is, you have a good point actually. But I don't know
Yeah.
how baseball
But
works,
you're
but I'm
right.
guessing he
Like
would have
he
been
would be
inked up.
extended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the NBA, he could have been extended and then still fired at the end of the season.
Oh
Like
yeah, it
that
doesn't
wouldn't. Yeah.
matter.
It's funny. It's always like, oh, salary cap. Now the NBA is the second apron crap. But there's never any like coaching salary cap.
No. Well,
Like,
I don't like
well, and
coaches
like
aren't getting the bag or anything.
well, I don't know. They're getting like 10 million a year now, starting to.
They're getting a lot, but it's not like a John Wall contract.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But it's also like anytime someone needs to fire a coach, they just eat the money. Doesn't matter if
Yeah,
it's
you just do it.
college,
Yeah, Maryland did
football,
it with Turgeon.
baseball, basketball.
10 million.
Yeah, Will Muschamp. I think we're still paying the guy. Uh,
Oh, they are.
and it just doesn't matter.
Paying like three coaches.
Coaching money is fake money.
Yeah. Well, college it's easy because you can just convince your donor. Like the donors are the ones who are like, we don't want this guy anymore. It's like, all right,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
you guys are paying for it. That's fine.
All right. So when they're winning, they turn it around after the trades. They start winning all these games. Art is getting all this credit. He turns around because his daughter tells him to. Tells him to go to the
Okay,
game.
so we're at game 20. We need
Yeah.
we skip past the trade deadline.
Okay. Yeah. The trade deadline. My thoughts were that
awesome scene.
Oh, and it seems like a lot of fun, but
Mhm.
very stressful at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Like he's just calling guys left and right. And what I liked about it was he would just go, and I don't know if real GMs do this. I'm guessing they do, but he was like, "I'm trading this guy. What do you got?"
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like,
It was
"That's
like
awesome."
playing 2K.
Exactly. When you press the
Making all these
trade
moves at
finder.
once, and it's literally like trade finder, and you're just waiting. You're scrolling through instead of waiting for a callback. You're scrolling through all the offers.
Oh, and he tries to. I mean, it's major 2K stuff. He's like trying to get the other teams to get. Like I do this in 2K. I'll be like, "Oh, trade all my big contracts to this team so they can't sign the free agent," and then I'll just sign the free agent. So he's doing that. He's trying to get these guys to get what he wants. He makes deals. Him and Pete just running phone calls all day.
Yeah.
You're right. Excellent.
Yeah, he finds out that one team is interested in the reliever that he wants, and then he calls them, offers them the reliever that they have that they're going to get rid of.
Yep.
So that he can call Cleveland back
and get the reliever.
And say San Francisco's not interested anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. The craziest part of that scene is when he has to tell the owner that he's going to pay the rest of Rincone's salary.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, seriously?
Yeah, that the owner doesn't have that, like, he has that little faith. Yeah. He's not gonna just call.
He's that poor?
Yeah. It's like
you a billionaire, dude?
And it's $200,000, which is a lot for a normal person. But this is a MLB, Jesus Christ, MLB owner. There's no way he doesn't have a spare $200,000 he can cough up for this one contract.
Yeah, seriously. So,
like they get it done. That is a great scene though. He's like, "I'll just pay it myself," and the owner just like pauses for a second, and he go, "What did he say?" He said, "If we win something."
He said, "I'll pay the money now, but when I flip him for twice as much next season, I get the money."
Yeah. And yeah, so the trade deadline goes through, and they start their winning streak. The Chris Pratt starts at first base, and
Scotty H, pick a machine.
Mm-hmm. And they start running through these games. I I like that it wasn't long and drawn out. They were just like, all right, now we're at game 17.
Yeah, right.
They win 2 more. We're going for 20. And then like the focus is on game 20, which
Guy
is
on the radio is the best. Like, we're going to 20.
yeah.
We're going to
Uh,
20. A
well,
great like sound bite.
and looking at that, like the fans, all the A's fans are all dressed up, bringing the signs. We want 20. We want 20.
Mhm.
And I was just like, actually sad for Oakland.
I
They have
know.
this wide shot of Chase Arena right next to it, and I'm like, oh, those are both going to be empty houses within the next
Yep.
year, and
Yeah, it's sad.
it is sad. Clearly it's a good enough fan base, and I don't know if they're still doing the reverse boycott, but they definitely should be.
It was just for one night.
Oh, well, that's lame.
They're back to like.
That's actually I was gonna give them credit, but now that's lame.
Well, they
Uh,
don't want it. They're boycott like
that's
they're
true. I guess they
boycotting for a
actually, yeah,
reason.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Like they want to make the owner look as bad as possible.
So they just had that one night of the.
Yeah,
All right,
was an epic night.
it was pretty epic night. Speaking of epic nights,
Yeah.
they go in game 20. He turns around after his daughter's telling him to go watch the game. Immediately, fifth inning, fourth inning. I don't know.
Up
Comes in.
11-0. When he turns the radio on. He's like, "Well, if you're just joining us, you've missed a lot."
Yeah.
They scored 6 in the first, 1 in the second, and 4 in the third.
They're up
They went
11
to
nothing.
nothing. It's like, what?
Oh, when I heard that, I was like, well, because I thought it was gonna be like either they lose. Because I honestly I didn't know anything about the Oakland 2002 Oakland A's, and I was like, oh, it's either gonna be like they lose or like it's really close. And then I saw the 11 nothing. I was like, oh, like they're stomping them. And
Mm.
of course, he gets into the facility right when he walks in. Grand slam happens. 5-run inning for who are they playing? The Kansas City Royals.
Royals.
Yeah. And I was just like, I would turn around immediately and start driving again. Immediately. The second I saw that grand slam, I'd be like, all right, this isn't for me. It's not gonna work. Oh,
yeah. So this.
we have some comments.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Just saying, he watches on the treadmill. Yes, he gets dragged while watching the games. It's the only way he's allowed to. But, anyways, what you were saying?
Well, and then he does go down after that.
Yeah, he
He's
gets
like,
jacked
"I'm not
immediately
watching
after that.
anymore."
Yeah, he gets jacked immediately.
But for all the stuff this movie like overdoes and either leaves out or over dramatizes, this was real. Like this happened.
Mhm.
They blew an 11-0 lead, and then Atterberg comes up, the guy who everybody was like, "This guy's done. He can't throw. Like he's done in the majors." Oakland gave him a chance. Everyone said he was an idiot. They wouldn't play him at the start of the year. Then they started playing him. Eventually, like they traded Pena, and he's the one who comes up and he hits the home run to win
That was
20
an
in a
awesome
row.
moment.
Like pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was
And
a really
not
awesome
like
moment.
that's not a fictional movie thing. That happened. That's nuts.
That's really cool. That's a real storybook for the 20th game. He also which I thought was cool. I don't know if it was in this game or another game that they showed during their run, but his biggest fears, a baseball coming right at him. And
He's talking to David Justice. What's your biggest fear out there? Oh, having a baseball hit in my general direction, and then they laugh at it. He's like, "No, for real, that's it."
well, and he catches it. He gets the
Look at that.
ground ball pop up, and I was like, all
Yeah.
right, sweet. He's facing his fears. So Chris Pratt hits it for the 20. They win, and then this was the one part of the movie where I was like, ah, that's a little rushed. Where they're just like they win the 20th game, and like 2 scenes later, they lose in the LDS again. And I was like, that's it? I was like, it's over? Because I didn't know if they won the championship, which was fun. It was nice not to know. And second, I was just like, where'd the rest of the season go? Like,
I was just looking this game up. It was in mid-September.
Okay, so it's getting
left
close.
in the season
Okay,
anyway.
all right.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, they lose again. The LDS.
Yeah.
Sad
in
stuff.
5 games. Yeah, it is sad.
Really, really sad stuff. They, what was I gonna say? Oh, that's kind of really all I got. They lose so quickly. Oh, yeah. So he goes with the Sox. He's meeting with the Sox. And I was thinking, I was like, if he signs with the Sox, the message of this whole movie is tossed down the drain.
Right.
Because now he
It's
just
not
gets
Moneyball because they
no,
have the money.
yeah. Because now he just gets the ultimate checkbook, so it's not
Right.
Moneyball. So of course he doesn't. Pete says they're gonna make you the highest paid GM in the world. And he says, great quote. Made a decision on money once.
Yep.
Swore to never do it
I'd
again.
never do it again.
And it's a good quote to live by, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, and then
We're getting to the best quote of the movie, though. Haven't gotten there yet. When Billy goes, he gets the offer, and then they have that conversation. Then Pete says, "I want to show you something." And they go and they watch.
yeah, the Greek
clip
the Greek
of the
fatty.
fat catcher.
The Greek fatty.
No, the Greek god of walks. That's Kevin Youkilis. He's earlier.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who waddles like a duck.
Yeah. All right.
The catcher, I forget what his name is. He comes up. He's like, I was just gonna be mean. He's like 250 pounds, and he never rounds first base. He's scared he's gonna fall. Hits a ball deep center field, and Pete pauses it. He's like, now he's gonna do it. He's gonna go for it
For the
and he
first
runs around
time
first,
ever.
and face plants. And Billy's like, oh, they're making fun of him. And Pete's like, well, yeah. Look why. And he plays it. Ball goes 50 feet over the fence. He runs around the bases. And Billy sits back and he says, it's hard not to be romantic about baseball.
Yeah.
That's my favorite quote.
That is a good quote.
And then Pete goes, it's a metaphor. I know it's a metaphor.
Oh, that was great. That was a great scene. No, that's I think one of the best scenes in the movie is that, and it shows. I mean, it's more than just Moneyball and about baseball and stuff like that, but it's it is a metaphor. It is a great, great thing to think about. So, I thought it was kind of a sad ending. I mean, they show up the graphic. They're like the Red Sox won next year with the Moneyball strategy, which again is not Moneyball strategy when you have
not
money
like they were the ones who signed one of their players. They signed
Yeah. So it wasn't exactly Moneyball, but
no, of course not.
And then it was the quote that got
that was the year
me.
they came back from 3-0.
Yes, that was the curse of the Bambino was lifted.
Yeah.
It was really sad to see the quote. I was like, Billy Beane is still looking to end the season off on a win
in the last game of the year. Yeah.
And I was just like, damn. And he's still with the A's.
And he's I think he works for Major League Baseball now.
Oh, okay.
He was for years, and they had another little run in.
No, he's the vice president of the A's.
Are you sure?
That's according to Google.
I could have sworn that he minority owner of the Oakland Athletics. Damn, yeah, so he did just fine. Okay, I didn't realize. Why did I think that he had left?
I don't know. A for life.
Yeah, executive vice president. What's the difference between that and G?
He does not look like Brad Pitt.
He does not.
Not really at all.
It looks like he should be on Wall Street.
It's true. All right, enough Billy Beane analysis. Back to the movie. Yeah, I mean, actually, that's really all I got. Any other?
But yes, they have not won. What if he was like behind the Vegas move?
That would be
He's
so
actually
sad.
just like piece of shit.
That would be so sad. It's like his ultimate goal is actually just to get the budget, but for the A's. Just wants the Vegas money to come in.
Yeah.
That would be sad.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox have won 3 World Series. No, 4.
I believe it's 4.
I think they've won 4 World Series since that. 2002. 2004. The A's have not.
That's a damn shame.
It is a shame.
Well,
unfair game.
It is an unfair game. Yeah, that's true. So, Any other scenes you want to go through before we get to the cuck of the week?
What about the when he's having the meeting with the Red Sox owner and it's like, "It's her birthday.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
don't
great.
know what to get her."
That's another
He's
great
like,
quote. Because
"No disrespect.
I
I
just
just lost in
lost.
5 for the second straight year. Get her a bowling ball.
For all I care, I don't give a rat's ass about
I
this.
don't give a shit what you get her."
Oh, that
That's
was
the
great.
other thing that I was thinking of when you said he's still looking to win the last game of the year. When he's talking to Art at the beginning, and Art's asking for the extension, he's like, "I think I deserve it after 102 wins." And Billy Bean is, "Dang, Art, I won the last game of the year. No one really gives a shit."
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn."
No, and it's the harsh reality of sports.
It is the harsh reality.
There's all these, like, not just baseball. There's all these successful teams that will
Mhm.
forever be forgotten because they
Right.
didn't win the last game of the season, and that's what
Yeah.
matters. All
Every
right.
basketball team in the 90s.
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally.
Yeah. All right. The
Is it Cuck of the Week or Simp? Or is it like the same thing?
Oh, I think it is simp of the week. All right, we're adding a new category.
We could do
Yeah, we're adding a new
we
category.
can do both.
Yeah, we're doing so. Normally it's simp of the week. I don't know what I was thinking last night. You're right. It is simp of the week. It's not uh cuck of the week, but we're gonna add a cuck of the week now. I like that.
Okay.
Now I need to get a simp of the week. Oh, it might have to be his daughter. What a little simp.
For Simp?
Nah,
The
just kidding.
daughter, the song at the end of the movie, she says, "You're such a loser, Dad."
Oh, I know. So many times too. That's like how the movie ends. And it's like showing that Billy Bean never won one, and it's like in the back is his daughter just going,
Just a loser, Dad.
"Loser lad,
Just a
loser."
loser, Dad. You're just a loser,
Yeah,
Dad.
and I was like,
"What?"
First, I was like, shut this girl up, and second, I was like, what is the message of this movie? Like, the movie, I guess I guess the
Enjoy the
message.
victories while you have them,
Yeah, I guess so.
and it's an unfair game.
I was gonna say
Yes.
that the lesson was actually you do need money to win championships.
It is, of course you do. Of course you do.
They're like, actually, Moneyball just doesn't really work unless you have the funds to get the best players.
Yeah, it
in the
gets
same
you.
system.
It gets you competitive, but it doesn't win. But like, it's
Ugh.
also like they were so severely below what competitive payroll was, even
Yeah,
at
that's
that
true.
time. So
Yeah, that's fair. They're under 50
it
feet of
works
shape.
if you have like, yeah, right. If you have a little bit of money, they have none.
All right.
But yes, that is that is part of the message.
All right. Well, my cuck of the week, I am. I'm going with Art. Art was a cuck
Really?
the whole time
Why?
because he's trying to be a cuck to to Billy. He's like, oh, like I'm not gonna play these players. I do the managing. You do this, and then
He
Billy.
just trades him away.
Yeah, Billy owns him in the meeting when he's like, "Oh, you're not starting. You can do whatever you want, but you're not starting Pios,
Oh,
whatever his
that's a
name
great
is,
scene that we didn't
tonight."
talk about.
And he's like, "Look,
You can't
I've
play
told you,
Payne at first tonight.
yeah,
I'm gonna play him.
I'm gonna play
Have
him.
this conversation."
Well, can't do that. He's playing for the Detroit Tigers."
Yeah, right.
Great, great
Yeah,
scene
that
right
is a
there.
great scene.
That's he's a cuck. He's a cuck.
Okay.
I guess you give out the if I
Fair.
did you pick out a simp of the week beforehand?
Well, I had a couple. I one was the Red Sox owner
Yeah,
for like making him or gonna try to make him the highest paid.
that's a good
Yeah.
simp. Yeah, that's a simp move.
Um,
After one,
Cuck. Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say after like one really, really, I guess two really successful.
Again, the year before they also won 100
Yeah.
games. Like this,
Nah,
they
yeah,
were
you're right,
good.
you're right. Never mind. So I guess,
Um,
but definitely simp activity, trying to make them
Another Cuck, I would say, is Cleveland Indians general manager. Who says, "I'm not going to trade this guy to you," and then later in the movie,
trade the two.
not only does he lose Pete, who's like the brains behind this whole thing,
Yeah,
gives him away, and then Billy comes back and says, "Oh yeah, I'll have that guy now." So he gets cucked big time.
he does get cucked. Uh, I don't know. It's hard to pick a simp out for this one. It wasn't because there wasn't any like romance or any. There was nothing. It was just baseball.
Yeah, Probably why I love this movie so much.
Yeah, it's that's the best part about it is that there's no
Yeah.
filler. Like there's nothing that you're sitting down with your mom and she's the one that's interested in this scene and you're not. There's nothing like that the whole movie.
Right.
Uh
Chad Bradford was kind of a simp. He's like, "Thank you, Mr. Bean."
yes,
Like, blah
yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah.
All right,
And
that's
he
a great
says,
pick.
"I just want you to know I'm praying for you and your family." And Billy goes, "No problem." Just such a
Yeah,
good
that's
reply.
the pick. That's the pick.
Yeah.
I
Chad Bradford. Okay.
Chad Bradford's definitely the pick because I forgot about that scene. Another Cuck, the guy who gets sent to the minor leagues, Major Cuck.
Oh yeah,
He
that's
gets
such a
he
brutal
gets
scene.
cuckolded. He gets
Yeah, he
absolutely
does.
cuckolded. That is a brutal scene. He sits down, and we didn't go over that one either. When the GM sits in front of you, in front of the locker room, you should just know
Yeah,
nothing
it's
good
like,
is
"Hey
coming.
man, can
Yeah,
you stop putting your uniform on?" It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. That was brutal to watch.
yeah.
Oh, another. Sorry, just thinking about other scenes that we didn't get to talk about. Uh, the Pete saying like he's like, "You have to fire me right now. You have to cut
That
me,"
is a great scene.
and he's like, "No, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't fire you."
This is stupid and it's dumb and I won't do
Yeah. And then he has to go tell the guy that he got traded.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he
gotta
tells
say,
Pena.
he learns quick though. He was in
Yeah.
there that trade. I mean, he was straight to the point, exactly like Billy Bean
Yeah.
said.
Yep.
All right, well that was Moneyball. I hope you guys enjoyed our review of it.
Got a out of 10 score.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I didn't like how it ended as
Pretty
much, but
solid.
I'll give it
Yeah.
an 8.5. How about you? I mean, you've seen this. What? This is your 11th time seeing it.
Like, 9.98 is my score.
9.8.
Yeah.
All right, almost
The
perfection.
only the only thing that knocks it down is the fact that they left out like the studs of the team. I was just thinking, like, for the first time when I was watching it this last time, I was thinking, like, I'd be pissed if I was Miguel Tejada
Yeah.
and, like, I hit 30 home runs, hit 300, and, like, maybe the back, or maybe the back of his jersey is in the movie at one point. I know, like,
That's it.
Chavez, the third baseman, there's a guy wearing his t-shirt, but, like, I don't hear anything about it. Or, like, Tim Hudson, like, these were great players, dude. Like, the top three, Tim Hudson, Barry Zito, and Mark Mulder were like probably the best pitching staff in the game at that time.
Oh, we got a 10 out of 10 in the comments.
10.
Yeah. From
Yeah, I mean this is like legit a top 3 movie for. This is one of my all time.
yeah, 9.9. That's a high score. I mean, I'll give it an 8.8. I'll move it up. I didn't know we were gonna do the whole 10-point decimals, so I'll give it an 8.8. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. All right, you wanna cover some last, or I guess not last minute, first, second, free agents.
Yeah, what do we got? We got Kuz coming back to the Wizards,
Yeah, yeah. Give me
which
uh a minute and a half on Kuz coming back to the Wizards. Can you do that?
I don't know what to think. It's like it's got to they're gonna stay here for 4 years, right? Like this is gonna be a signing trade at some point. Maybe not like immediate signing trade, but maybe at the deadline. Like if they're actually committed to this rebuild, I will say the contract's not bad.
No, it's not bad
4
at
years,
all.
102 million is not bad.
No, I don't think it's bad at all.
Um, like Jordan Poole's making more than that,
I just
so
I don't get
I
like
don't hate it necessarily.
I just thought they were doing this blank slate type of deal.
I
Now
did
you
too, which
now
is
you
why
just
I'm
kind of
saying like there's
threw
no
Kuz in
way.
there. Are they gonna fuck this up?
I don't know. I really hope not.
Are they gonna like be like another 10 seed?
I'll say this: I'd rather have Kuzma than not have Kuzma
That's fair.
because it's an asset, and we're dealing with assets right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, and I think
Like,
you could probably if he has the start of the season like he did last season and there's high interest for him, why not try to flip him at the deadline?
yeah, yep. And like he'll be if you were to trade him last year at the deadline, his value compared to now would have been lower then because he wouldn't have been under team control. Now he's under team control, so his value goes up.
That's true. Yeah, I think so.
So that's where I'm at. And I like Kuzma. He's fun.
Yeah, I remember
So at
you
the end of the
got
day, like,
mad I was calling him Luzma last year.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. And he also had the best year of his career last. Like
I agree.
he was an all-star. He had all-star numbers.
He did.
So
all right.
that's where I'm at on the Kuzma stuff.
Nothing else from the Wizards, it looks like. My Celtics, they got a Porzingis extension. And apparently, Brad Stevens apparently convinced Porzingis in his extension to take a $17 million discount, which makes sense. I saw the extension come up, and I was worried about the number that was coming following it. But 2 years, $60 million, I'd take that 10 times out of 10 for Kristaps Porzingis. That's a great number, especially when you look at some of these other free agents. And like Joe Ingles got 2 years, and I guess this isn't really comparable. 2 years, $22 million. But a guy like Bruce Brown gets $45 million in free agency to the Pacers, which is something that happened. And weird move by the Pacers. I don't know what they're like kind of in like
I don't
limbo.
know what they're doing either. That's weird.
They're kind of in limbo. But anyways, I love the contract. I think it's a pretty low risk deal, and you're getting a lot. I mean, you already had him anyway, so might as well get him extended.
Oh, Kyrie returns to the Mavs.
Yes, Kyrie returned to the Mavs for what? Do you see the numbers?
3 years, $126 million. Man, 42 a year.
Did you see? God, what's his name from the Pacers? Just got re-signed. Jeremy Grant. 5 years, $160 million. That's a more comparable contract to the Porzingis thing. If they did that for Porzingis, I would have been worried. But
so what does that mean for Dame? Actually, I don't even want to talk about Dame.
I hate Dame. He is so lame. He is in Aaron Rodgers territory for this podcast.
He is big time.
He's like
every
Voldemort.
Time I see something about it. He's like
I don't believe anything that comes out about Dame Lillard.
The only time I think I like it is when it's like butt crack sports and it's like Damian Lillard's sister's friend's brother's mom says that he wants to be traded. That stuff that gets me every time.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Because it literally is. It's like Damian Lillard like isn't happy with the Blazers doing this, but he wants to stay. It's like get out of here.
Like, shut up, Dame.
Traded or don't. And
stop bitching about it.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
And
I love all these guys. Like, oh, he's so loyal. Never did a trade request. But every offseason, it's like, it always ends with Dame has to stay committed. Like, he's committed to the Pacers.
Yeah.
And it's like this stupid song and dance that happens every time. And then he just ends it with, oh, I want to stay. And then gets called loyal because I guess he wants to stay.
It's like he gets off on being called loyal. It's like, I'm so loyal.
Yeah. He definitely
so loyal.
Absolutely loves being loyal.
That was Bradley Beal too. I saw a quote that was like, it was tough for Brad to leave Washington. It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, he's playing with KD and Booker.
Like,
he's really not that. I'm sure he's not that bad. All right, so what we're looking at here, the other big ones, Draymond Green extended 4 years, $100 million. After the Poole thing, it just seemed like, all right, they're keeping Draymond. How old is Draymond? 4 years?
He is 33.
Oh. I guess his game doesn't like. I don't think his game. Yeah. I don't think his game like ages. But I still don't like it. Like you want Draymond as 37 years old.
It will age at some point.
I guess so, but it's not like he's gonna lose his shot. Like he doesn't have a shot.
But that doesn't age. Like if he was a shooter, it'd be better. But when he plays like a junkyard dog,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I guess like PJ Tucker's a billion years old, and he's
still out there,
running up and down the court.
What else
But
we got? Anything big? Chris Middleton back to the Bucks. That seemed pretty like it
um,
was gonna happen. That
once they were out for real,
I don't like that either. I don't
why?
I don't know. I think Chris Middleton's done.
Why?
I don't know. Like, is he really all that good?
He doesn't need to be that good. He's a number two.
That's true. But like I just seems like that's a lot of money for Chris
He
Middleton.
had he had a rough year last year.
And
He was
another
hurt a
one,
lot.
31 years old. Come
Yeah, that is tough.
on. Other big contract. Cam Johnson got more money than Kyle Kuzma. Stay with the Nets. See that?
Wait, Kyle Kuzma, what?
Cam Johnson got more money to stay with the Nets than Kyle Kuzma did to stay with the Wizards.
Oh yeah, I did see that when I looked up Kuzma. Cam Johnson got a big deal,
Just,
which again,
just kind of
what are you
weird.
doing?
Yeah, that's just kind of weird.
Is Cam Johnson that good?
Yeah, I think he's good.
I think he's solid.
Yeah, I think he's a solid role player.
I guess 20 million a year for that is not.
No,
end
it's
of
not
the
anything
world.
egregious.
Like Kuzma, like that's a good contract.
Yeah, I do think that's a good
A
contract.
really good Like I thought he was gonna get 30.
I know. It's like, I mean, we were talking about Bruce Brown. That contract. I know he just won the chip, and I know he has, these intangibles that people like. Man, that's a lot of money for a team
Yeah,
that's not
it's crazy.
in championship windows and needs a guy like Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
What else? The other one I want to get on, Gabe Vincent went to the Lakers.
Shooters, I guess.
I think it's a
Well,
solid fit for the Lakers. A
yeah,
guy that's been there the past couple years in a lot of big playoff games,
yeah,
and just kind of a vet that you don't like. LeBron doesn't have to worry about him. I think that's
right.
that's the key. Is like when the ball's in his hand, it's not like LeBron's like shitting his pants. Like, what is he gonna do?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Jingles to the Magic.
That was weird. What the hell is Jingles doing? What is he doing there? Like, there's
Just
all
wants to
these
go to Disney
there's all
World.
these NBA teams that has like all these young players and like nothing else on the team, just nothing but young players. Like the Magic, and it's like now you're just signing Joe Ingles, so why? So
You don't think that's a good fit?
I think it's a fine fit, but it's
Like an old
I would
guy
rather
coming
play.
in, like all he does is hit threes.
That's true.
Now he gets to play. Like the young guys get a veteran. I think it's smart.
I don't know. I guess it's not even that much money, but if you're, I'm guessing, and you're probably right. He's probably not going to play at all, really. So just a vet off the bench that could
Yeah.
get some minutes if need be. All right, I guess that's not too bad. I just think poor Joe Ingles. I
I mean,
guess
he agreed to it.
yeah, I know, but it's like, man, like you're really gonna just, I don't know. I felt like a contender could have used Joe Ingles. I would have taken Joe Ingles.
Yes, yeah.
Not for 11
Yeah.
million a year, but I would have taken Joe Ingles. Actually,
fair.
yeah, I don't feel bad for him anymore. 11 million a year to sit in Disney World.
Yeah, there's no reason to feel bad for him.
Yeah, that's fair. The Suns got a couple things done. A bunch of bums. They got Drew Ebox, Damian Lee, Baez Diop,
Hey,
who apparently Baez Diop shot 40% from three, so I guess that's good. They got the guy that was the Asian guy that was on the Nets. What's his name? Wutana Wannabe.
Utah Watanabe.
Yeah, be another 3-point shooter. Back with reunited with
Mhm.
KD. But not anything big. I guess James Harden requested a trade. He opted in to request
Oh
a
my
trade.
gosh. Let's talk about that.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about that Tuesday. Well, that's
Or
the
Monday.
plan. Yeah, Monday. We're not gonna do anything on 4th of July, and we're gonna be coming in Monday, hot, ready to go, and coming off all these free agencies, and we're gonna actually be able to discuss the teams. See what all the teams go. Yada yada yada. So
Full
look forward
state
to
of
that.
the league.
Yes, exactly. A full state of the league. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy. I hope you liked Moneyball. Hope you're planning on watching it if you didn't watch it beforehand. And we'll see everybody come Monday. Earl free agency recap. Thanks for listening.